Welcome back to another episode of my journey to authenticity. We are here on, what's today, Friday? Oh, damn, today's Friday. Friday, October 18th, coming at you live with a whole bunch of energy brought to you by the full moon in Aries. Just kidding. Okay, so yes, welcome back to my podcast episode. I mean, what? You know what I mean. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today on this journey to authenticity, where I am undergoing this wild, wacky adventure of finding out what authenticity is and what that means to me, and in turn, what it is and what it means to other people. Now, I believe my last episode was about compassion, if I'm not mistaken, like compassion for yourself and compassion for your others on the journey to authenticity and how important it is to be compassionate to yourself while doing things like this. And throughout this week, I have been, like I said in previous episodes, this entire podcast is sort of like a journal to myself. It's holding myself accountable. It's my calendar. It's right now it's my North Star. It's kind of helping me focus on how to get to my most authentic self and uncovering what that means to me. And as I am going through parts and pieces of this journey, the podcast episodes are also matching up with the things that I'm finding out and the things that I'm going through. And one of the, like, I guess, main words that have been sticking out to me since my last episode has been validation. I don't know if I said that in the last episode that I was going to do one on validation. I can't remember what I said I was going to do it on. It came up as I was filming that episode. But validation has been a really big theme this past week, and I know that it's going to be the theme for the next couple of weeks. So something I've been focusing on from the last episode is being compassionate to myself. And as I was finding ways to extend compassion to myself, because I can be so compassionate to others, it's so much easier to do that to others, but being compassionate to yourself is super difficult. I mean, especially if you're like me. I mean, and I know that there are thousands of us out there, like billions, billions, billions of us. We're overthinkers, and we put unnecessary excessive pressure on ourselves to be perfect, and that level of wanting to be seen, but also simultaneously terrified of being seen. And something that comes from that, or something that I guess could strengthen those things, is validating yourself, not just giving yourself compassion and knowing that, okay, you know what? Yeah, you're doing new stuff, and you may be doing something that other people in your family might not approve of, but that does not make you any less worthy of love and acceptance and joy and success and happiness. And giving yourself that compassion can seem so difficult. And I know that sometimes what helps is validating yourself, knowing that the experiences that you go through are valid, knowing that the things that you feel are valid, knowing that your existence in itself is valid. And like I said, validation has been coming up a lot. Oh my God, I don't know if I said that in the last episode either, but it's something that I've been noticing, and I think I put it on my Instagram, that somehow, some way, whenever I do one of these episodes, I end up getting on Instagram or YouTube or just doing something, and the topic that I was talking about is in a post. It's in a song. it's on another podcast that I wasn't even listening to. It was something that someone else was listening to, and I just heard it passing by. And I'm just like, yo, the synchronicities is crazy. But validation came up right after compassion. And again, it was a post that had self-compassion and validation all wrapped up into it, and it was talking about it in terms of vulnerability. And I was like, wow, I think I'm on the right path right now. But anyway, I saw a post about it, and I was like, ooh, I think that's the next one, because that's something that I'm struggling with. And it's been something that's been coming up a lot this past week. So this past weekend, I finally met um, an internet friend of mine. She invited me to her birthday festivities, and I appreciated that so much, because I was like, you know, a lot of people are like, what? You invited a stranger to your birthday party? I mean, and me being me, I'm just like, nah, I'm just a friend. But I mean, I know me, and I know I'm cool. So I didn't think that it was weird at all. But I mean, apparently to the norms, to like the normies, and I'm guessing the neurotypicals, like that's stranger danger. And here I am just like, nah, I just like people. I'm kind of shit. I'm just friendly as fuck. So when she invited me, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I realized that might be a little weird to invite a stranger to your birthday party, but I was like, nah. It's cool. I swear, I'm not a weirdo. I mean, I'm a little weird, but I'm not the kind of weird that's gonna, pull a Cape Fear and be under your car when you drive away. Sorry, brain. But yes, I recently went, and I had a lot of fun, and we talked about wonderful things. Much like she said, our connection is undeniable. Like she seems like somebody that I've known for a very long time. And so with me going there, she actually picked me up too, which I thought was really, really dope, because for anyone who knows me personally, they know I don't drive. I can't. I can, but it's really not safe. I drive with both feet, and people get on me for it a lot, especially my family. Apparently, it annoys the shit out of them that I can't drive, because I can't contribute in that way at all. So it annoys the hell out of them. But in all honesty, ain't none of them gonna let me drive their cars with both my feet. So, and no license. So, and anxiety. I don't think they're gonna let me drive their car. So it's just like, whatever. Anyway, going back to her birthday party, I was super duper excited. I had a lot of fun. I was still nervous, because with me trying to break out of my self-esteem issues, I was like, please don't embarrass yourself. Please don't be embarrassing. Please don't be weird. Please just be normal, but still be yourself. Like that's where the compassion piece came in. I literally had to keep telling myself the entire day, like, you're worthy of making friends. And let's say that, it doesn't work out, then that's okay. It does not mean that you are a bad person or you are a horrible friend. It does not mean that, you're just not worthy of meeting new people or having meaningful connections. So it was something that I really had to work through, because it would have been my first time kind of like going out and meeting new people in a very long time. I say very long time, but I think maybe a year, maybe. I social anxiety is a bitch. And then when you don't feel like you're as normal, quote unquote, as everyone else, it makes it harder for you to go out and meet people, because that self-limiting belief of me not being good enough for people just tumbles, and then it creates this domino effect of how I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I haven't had enough experience in life. Even though I'm around the same age as everyone else, I feel like there are so many things that I haven't done that cause me to feel like I'm stunted in some way, like some like Arrested Development sort of situation where I just feel kind of like I still feel like I'm a teenager. I still feel like I'm a 15, 16-year-old girl with absolutely no no experience as to what life is. And I mean, I know a lot of that is partly because I keep myself in the house a lot and I don't go out to meet people. I mean, honestly, where am I going to go? But neither here nor there. I had to have a lot of compassion with myself before I went because I didn't tell her this, but I really was thinking about like telling her, oh, you know what? I actually just, I don't have the energy in me to go, which is something that I tell people a lot. I tell people, no, I'm actually planning on doing something later, and the only thing I'm planning on doing later is journaling and talking to my cat. Or just doing something in the house that makes me feel good, which I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but if I continue to use that as an excuse and instead of going out and trying to battle against some of my social anxiety, it becomes just that. It becomes just an excuse. It becomes just some shitty reason to tell somebody, oh, I don't feel good enough to hang out with you. That's why. Which is like, okay, but that's kind of lame. At least to me. It ain't got to be lame like, to everybody else. But to me, I'm like, that's such a whack reason to not have fun because you're so scared of what people are going to think about you. But yeah, I had to have a lot of nice things to say to myself. I had to have quite a few affirmations to tell myself and just tell myself, hey, it's okay. You are worthy of that. You are not worthless. What did Megan say? I'm worthy, not worthless. Thank you. And that's, again, something that I had to tell myself in the mirror. I had to sing that to myself because that monster in my brain really does keep me from going out and meeting people. And like I said, it's always that feeling of me not being good enough. And it causes me to seek external validation from people, which is ding, 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 how this next episode came to be, because I started to recognize, I was like, oh my God, why do I want people to like me so fucking badly? I don't even like half of the people on the planet. Why do I want people to like me so badly? And I had to ask that question. And the need for validation actually comes from my family. I don't get a lot of validation from them at all. I wonder if they'll ever listen to this. They might not. But I don't feel like I get a lot of validation from them at all. I feel like the things that I want to pursue in life, if they don't match up with what my family deems as realistic, practical, or logical, then it becomes a pipe dream. It becomes me just wanting to bypass doing what everyone else does. I guess I could put it like this. My family is definitely like those type of people that are like, well, you got to do what you have to do, not what you want to do, in order to be happy, or in order to do what you want to do later on, you got to make sacrifices. I fucking hate that sort of mentality, because it always seems to me that the sacrifices they end up making, and I say they as everyone who has that mentality, not just my family, I always end up thinking like, damn, the sacrifices that y'all make are always so lofty though. It's the sacrifice of your happiness and your peace of mind. Yeah, you got a good job that pays money, but you come home every day tired and unhappy, and you don't really know why. Or you lie to yourself and say, no, I am happy because I have the things that I need right now and I don't have to worry about my bills. Okay, but are you really happy? Or are you just saying that because you're trading happiness for a form of security? You know what I mean? And sometimes stuff, it's not worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes you really do have to go on faith and have a full card moment. Me and tarot. But you have to start the journey anew, like the faith of a mustard seed. You have to just go out there on blind faith and just be like, look, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, but whatever happens, happens. And I believe that I'm going to be okay. So even though, it may be a situation where a lot of my actions are selfish, that's the only way that I know how to move in life. And hang in there. Don't judge me just yet. And if you judge me, don't judge too harshly. Before you judge how I move, learn how I cope. Thank you, Kendrick. But I don't know any other way than to choose a path that feels safer to me. And it's unfortunate because I feel like some of the choices that I have made have put other people in a difficult situation. And I apologize for that. But I don't want to sacrifice my peace of mind anymore or my happiness anymore to make other people happy, because that's what I feel like I've been doing this entire time. Even though some of the actions that I've taken have been selfish, the reason I've taken selfish actions at that moment was because I thought to myself, well, shit, the last time I did it your way and I still wasn't happy. Now I'm doing it my way. Not only am I not happy, but you're not happy with me. So now I'm learning what's actually making me happy. What is actually making me feel good, and validating my wants and my needs and my dreams and my actions only to myself, validating them to and for myself has now led me down this path of what do I really want? And why is it that these things are so bad to other people? And how can I better validate that for myself so that when people come at me like, oh, so why are you doing this? Why don't you do this? Why are you doing it this way? Why aren't you doing it this way? You need to be doing it this way because it's easier for everybody else. That way I could be like, well, that's not what I want to do. And then just let that be that. And whatever happens with that information is whatever happens with that information. I am not people's emotional regulator. I cannot be responsible for people's happiness or for people's comfort. People are going to make their decisions just like I'm going to make my own. And if that does not align with the things that they want, then we just can't be in each other's lives, or we just can't be in each other's lives at this moment. We just cannot. I don't want anyone to ever have to feel like they need my validation for something, especially to be happy or to be comfortable. But I would like understanding and knowing that, hey, I don't have to make you comfortable and you don't have to make me comfortable. If that's what makes you feel like you can't be here for that, then so be it. I feel like my brain is kind of going all over the place, but hopefully it'll all tie back in. Anyway, so through the whole week, I was thinking to myself, like, what do I really want? And I know what I want, like, I know what I want to do, but I keep also kind of battling with myself, especially in those moments, when you're about to fall asleep and your brain just kind of takes a turn for the worst. Those are the worst times. And sometimes I can't fall asleep during those mind rambles. But I was, thinking like, should I just do whatever it is that people want me to do to make them happy so that I don't feel like I am a burden to people? When in reality, my wants and my needs are not a burden to anybody. It doesn't matter how much they may say that it is or how much they may think it is. My wants and my needs are not a burden, and they should never be treated as a burden to anybody. So during this week, I've tried to figure out where some of my anxiety comes from, where some of my self-esteem issues come from. And I have found answers. And like I said, I asked ChatGPT, like literally everything. So one of the things that came up was seeking validation from external sources. And I was like, damn, I don't even really know how to validate myself because I'm not even sure what's valid and what's not. And that was a question that kind of perked me up because I was like, hey, what is valid and what's not? And who else? I mean, Because it's kind of like a really weird, I know that there has to be a word for this, but for me to ask that question is kind of asking myself, what is valid to other people that can be valid to me too, if that makes sense. So I was like, okay, so we'll say this, use this as an example. I want Wendy's for dinner and everyone else in the family wants pizza. And I'm just like, okay, so what I want is not valid enough for people to be like, okay, yes, you can get Wendy's and we'll just get pizza. So instead, I'm like, okay, so since that's not valid enough, instead, what I would be like, oh, well, okay, I'm cool with pizza, but can, instead of having pepperoni pizza like everyone else wants, can I instead have bacon pizza? You know what I mean? And then I keep thinking to myself, is that still me validating myself, or is that me telling myself this is valid enough for everyone else to be okay with it, for everyone else to say, hey, yeah, we're okay with you doing that. You know what I mean? Hopefully that made sense. Like, I really hope that that made sense, because that's kind of what that question, I'm assuming that this is my higher self speaking, because I'm telling you, sometimes I hear a voice in my head and it sounds like me, but it also doesn't sound like me. But I was like, why did I just ask myself that? Why did I just say that? Why did I just ask myself that question? Like, if I'm validating it for myself, it does not need anyone else's fucking validation. That's what the voice said. I was like, bitch, you're just valid. What the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about? You just validated it. Don't nobody else need to say, oh yeah, that's valid. No, nobody else needs to say that shit. But I wanted that so badly. Like, why do I want that so badly? Validation is an extremely crucial aspect of authenticity, because, you know, everyone wants to be validated. Everyone wants to feel accepted. And validation is, I just now realized I didn't even define it. I've been running my mouth this whole time. It's been 20 minutes, but validation is, by definition, it's a short definition, but it's the recognition or affirmation that, I don't think I said recognition, right? It didn't feel right. Recognition or affirmation that a person's thoughts, feelings, behaviors, etc. are valid or worthwhile. Validation influences self-perception, and it has a really big impact on authenticity, because, like I said before, we all want acceptance and validation. Like, external validation is good when someone's like, oh my God, such a beautiful job you did on that mural. Amazing. You were just validated by so many people. And now this beautiful creation that you made seems more important. It seems more, not that it was any less important when you had validated it yourself, because you know you did a damn good job on that mural. So like, why is you tripping? But then you turn around and someone's like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is absolutely amazing. And you're just sitting here like, yeah, I know. And it gives you like an extra boost of, yes, I am an amazing artist. So now the validation from yourself, where you were like, I worked hard on this, it's finished and it's beautiful and I like it. You know what I mean? Plus the external validation of someone being like, no, it's more than like, it's absolutely beautiful. Now your self-perception is, I am an amazing artist. So it is important to feed that part of you. And then that part of you gets grown, it gets strengthened, and more of your authentic creation comes out, where you're now like, I created this beautiful mural and now I want to grow and I want to level myself up. Now I want to do something like a huge abstract art piece for an exhibit, as opposed to it being a mural. You know what I mean? So, I mean, validation is important. And as much as it pains me to say that external validation is important, and so is, like, it's as important as self-validation, I feel like self-validation is way more important, obviously, because it has to come from inside. Like, too much external validation causes you to lose touch with yourself, because then you end up chasing approval instead of authenticity, which is, again, where I am at in my current journey. I'm not about to cry, but oh my God, I'm about to cry. Bitch, this whole time I was like, you're not gonna cry on this one. Isn't that really sad? But this is where I am on my journey, where it's just like, yo, I am seeking way too much external validation because my level of self-worth is just not there yet. It's not there yet. Like I end up going back and forth between, oh my God, and I'm not trying to do this with my nose stuffed. We gonna have to hold on. We gonna have to say this for later. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give me a minute. Okay. Okay. It's that validation. Oh, there they go. All of them. Tears everywhere. Because I have spent so long searching for, you know, kudos from everybody, that acceptance and that validation from everybody, especially my family. I am the literal, like, I am the black sheep, for real, for real. All this time, I thought me and my sister were kind of both, you know, sidewalkers. I say sidewalkers for like when we sidestep, like we're like crabs. We don't walk the normal way that our family says we should. We don't go the normal way. My sister's a little bit more assertive in that manner where she's like, hey, my way is my way and I don't care. However, my sister's way of doing things is still very much traditional. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I told Kenya when we were talking in the car, I'm like, the more I look at my birth chart, the more I know that I am the black sheep of the family. I'm the one that's supposed to sell all of my belongings and like move cross country or move across the other side of the planet just traveling. And I'm just like, I'm too scared to do that. And then where am I going to get the funds to do that? I don't really have a lot of things, but I'm just like, maybe I do have a lot of things and I just don't recognize it. Gratitude. This is, again, stuff that I'm working on. I'm working on these things in bits and pieces because I'm telling you, if I try to work on it how I want to work on it, I'm going to end up losing my mind. So I have to take a break from some of that inner work because I didn't think, everybody got a lot of work to do. I'm not special. I keep thinking maybe I'm broken or something. Jesus. But the amount of just wanting to do things differently from my family keeps me at this constant, it's like a constant turf war because I am so terrified of telling them what I really want to do because I'm not even sure if it's valid enough for them to support me in doing so. You know what I mean? Which is why when they ask me questions, I just be like, oh, I don't know, or I don't care, or, I give them whatever answer I think is palatable to them. So instead of the true bitter pill of me saying, like, I don't want to work a regular, none of us really want to work. You know what I'm saying? We don't really want to go in and have to work for somebody else. I don't. However, I think I'm the only one making the necessary moves for me as an individual, not for everybody else. For me as an individual, I think I'm the only one making the necessary moves in order for me to do so. And even though I feel like I'm a newborn deer, like walking on brand new legs, everything that I'm trying is just like so new and it's on shaky ground. I am still willing to do that. And something that Kenya told me, she was like, that's beautiful in itself. That's amazing in itself. And that was something that I was coming to terms with all this week because again, the need for validation from my family just kept popping up because I was like, I just need to find whatever job they want me to find, even though I know me. I know me. And I've said this. This is why I started this podcast, because I've said this to myself and my angels and my spirit team many times. I've said this to my ancestors many times. I know me. When I'm doing something, I do something with my whole existence. I do it with my whole body, with my whole energy, with my whole spirit, with my whole mind, with all love, with my whole chest. I do that thing and I put myself head first in whatever it is, even if it is something that I goddamn despise. So an example, working at Sephora. The second time I worked at Sephora, I was like, I should not be working this hard in this place that I fucking hate. I hate it here. I hate these bougie ass people that come in here thinking that I need to be their slave because I'm working, knowing damn well I can't say nothing, but I need the money. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing it so that my family wouldn't look at me like, oh, you're just a bum. And I'm like, I don't think y'all understand that a lot of the work that I do when I'm not actually out there working for somebody else is all inner work. And I can't prove that to nobody. You know, it's not like I get some sort of perfect attendance award for saying, hey, you showed up today, even though yesterday you were a fucking wreck. You know what I mean? It's not like I get $20 an hour for every time I go through another spiritual breakthrough or oh my God, or when I have a mental breakthrough and I'm just like, wow, you know what? I have to write that. I have to write about that in my journal. My therapist would be proud. You feel me? Like the healing that I do when I am not actually working takes so much energy out of me and so much time because I sit here and I cry for a while. And that is because the level of healing that I am doing is consistent and it's constant and it's what I'm supposed to be doing for my path. I'm not supposed to be working at no goddamn retail makeup place for 40 hours a week, hating my fucking job, hating where I am and not having any time to practice my spiritual growth, my spiritual expansion. And I am not somebody that balances that sort of thing well because of my social anxiety, because of my depression, because of the fact that I utilize so much energy to go to these places. You know, I utilize so much energy to talk to people and to say hi and to be who I am and where I am. And because you can't call into your job and say, hey, I got to take today and tomorrow off because I just had a really deep therapy session that's causing me to be a little emotionally unstable and I'm a little mentally unstable and I need some time away from stuff that's stressing me. You can't call your job and say that and then still get paid for it. Unfortunately, that's not how we set up our planet Earth, even though I wish that was a way that we would have set up our planet Earth. But like I said, nobody on the outside of this journey understands that. And it's not like I have proof of that. And that's what bothers me so much. And it's like the amount of validation that I have to give myself during this time is difficult because I feel like it's not valid enough to the people that I care about. And I wish that it was. I wish that it was. I wish that I could let them know, like, hey, I'm on a brand new path and I know what I want to do with myself now, but I need a little bit more leeway. I need a little bit more grace. I need a little bit more understanding because it took me a while to come to this conclusion and actually to put the action through. Even though I know that they are not to blame for that, I just wish that the plan that I have for myself was enough for them. But this is where that validation, that self-validation comes in. I have to practice recognizing and accepting my own thoughts and my emotions, my experiences without the external validation. And this is the difficult part because I keep looking at myself like, well, you're not good enough. So why should they validate that? You know, that idea is not good enough. Why should they be okay with that? And I'm not lying. Like, I have had multiple times, multiple ideas, multiple things that I've wanted to do with myself, with my own body, with my own person, with my own dreams. And I've had somebody close to me be like, no, that's stupid. That's not realistic at all. That's not logical. You don't sound like how are you going to get a plant? Like, what is this? This is stupid. Like, no, that's dumb. You're just going to make everybody else have to work harder. You're just going to make everyone else feel burdened by you. So go away and do something else with that. Do something more normal. Do something that everyone else is going to approve of. Do something that everyone else has done, because this is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I mean, if we would have never, if somebody, some crazy ass person would have never been like, damn, I wonder what the moon looked like for real, we would have never gone to the moon. So like, bitch, come on, help a nigga. Help a bitch out or something. Damn, I'm still crying. Okay. Don't you hate when you be crying and then your tears dry on your face and then it gets itchy? Fuck. But you know, I want to be able to do that now. I'm just at a very tough part where I feel like it's so hard to tell myself that that's valid because I don't even know what that means to me. So again, going through this, I had to I have to, it's the ability to give yourself permission to feel and then express and pursue things that you want, need, or what have you, even when other people don't understand or approve. So now I'm like, okay, so what are the actions that, like, practical actions that I could take? Because God, no, I'm not really practical. What are some practical actions that I can actually take for myself to know that this is the right choice? Like, this is the right choice for me. This is what I'm doing. I am doing the right thing for me. And the first question that you have to ask yourself is, ask myself, because this is about me. Am I doing this to be authentic? Am I doing this because it feels good to me? Or am I doing this to gain approval from others? And I really have to sit there with that question because it's so hard for me to know what I really want. I feel like sometimes it's such a difficult block for me to get past because it's been such a constant wound on my person that I'm not sure how to act differently. So going back to how I said I was selfish earlier, because I do take and you should be selfish. Like you should be. I mean, obviously don't do it to the detriment of other people, but sometimes I heard earlier today, people are going to make you the villain anyway. So you might as well be doing what the fuck you want to do, because they're going to make you the villain anyway. Even if you're sitting here like, no, I'm never going to be the villain. That's not me. They're going to find some sort of narrative to give you to make you the villain. So fuck it. Do it anyway. And now I'm just like, am I doing this? Because now I have to ask the real hard question to myself. Am I really doing this because, you know, this is what feels good and it's authentic, and this is something that I know, this is like where my body is, where my body is speaking, or am I being manipulated? Am I trying to be manipulative? Am I trying to go, you know, am I trying to do this because I'm trying to do it's because I know that going to, I don't give a lick about what you're gonna do. I'm gonna do what I want. So even the things it's harmful. Or am I doing this specifically to gain the approval of the people that I want to gain the approval of? Like, these are questions that I have to sit here and ask myself because I am so out of touch with what it is that I want and what it is that feels good to my body because of the fear of failing at it, or the fear of being rejected, or the fear of having to crawl back to my family and be like, well, I didn't make it, only for them to be like, yeah, we knew you wouldn't, so get your ass over here and clean a toilet. You know what I mean? Like, I have to ask these questions, and I have to be honest with myself. Oh my God. Okay, so that's the next episode too, is honesty, because obviously that has to go on authenticity, but I have to be honest with myself. I have to sit here and really tell myself, like, this is what I want, and I have to know that my destination is whatever is going to make me happiest, even if the path to that looks crazy as hell. I know that I know where I want to be. I just am not sure how to get there yet. And going through these steps to help me figure out what it is that I really want and the path that I am supposed to take, or paths that I am supposed to take,
that validation shit, like telling myself it's worthy. My dream is worthy. What I want is worthy. Oh my Lord, my voice. Okay. Oh, I'm finna finish this because I'm starting to cry and my nose is getting stuffed. And when my nose gets stuffed, my voice sounds like a hot mess. No. Oh my God. So now I have to find ways to validate myself because I don't know what that looks like. I've never known what that looks like. And when I asked ChatGPT, because it's been helping a bitch so far, it's been helping me like really find the words to find a way to verbalize the emotions that I'm having, or find a way to properly verbalize the questions that I ask myself. And I was like, how do I validate myself? What are some ways that I can validate myself? And these are the few that resonated with me on a very deep level. Like I felt it in my body when I read them. So like recognizing the source of your desire for external validation. That one popped up yesterday. Like literally yesterday when I was actually supposed to do this episode, but I couldn't because some things kind of monkey wrenches and shit. But my desire for validation, it could, especially for external validation is what I mean. By my desire for external validation is, why do I see like why do I seek that external validation from this person? And I know exactly the people that I seek that validation from, but it is definitely one person in particular that I just want I just want I just want to know that I'm worth something to somebody when that person I need that from is me. But why do I seek it from this person? Is it tied to approval, fear of rejection, or a need to feel seen by them? Answering those questions can help you let go that need for that validation. And I mean, it's something that I'm journaling on. I'm about to pull some cards on it. I'm about to deep dive into that one because it's a question, and that's a real thing for me. Like that's my real life. Like the fear of wanting the people that I love most, who I think are successful, who I think are I guess better than me in a way, even though I don't I don't like saying that. I need some water. Where's my water? I'll go get it. But wanting to be seen by those people is extremely important to me because to me that means, I've made it in some way. And I really don't need that validation from them. I don't. But now I have to redefine what that validation looks like for myself and how to give that more to myself. Another way is to shift focus to people who support, uplift, and accept you. That I don't have yet. I not yet, but I'm building a more structured community. And I say that right now because I'm looking into communities, even though I haven't made the step to actually go for it. Because like I said, anxiety, that fear of rejection is real. It's real. Oh my God. And there was a catfish episode that I saw yesterday. And the dude said he was who he said he was, but he was so insecure. And I was just like, he not even ugly too. Like, what was he scared of? But I know what that's like, to just, and it's so hard to put into words because you really are your worst enemy. Some of the stuff that I've said to myself, like, even if I said it to somebody I hated, I would look at myself and be like, oh my God, you're such a monster. Like, why did you say that to that person? So some of the stuff that I've said to myself is so bad that if I say it out loud, it re-triggers me. So I choose I really got to go to therapy for that one. So we're focusing on that. But right now we're getting to some of the topical stuff so that maybe I can kind of uncover other things. And like when I saw that, I was like, yo, this is why it really is important to have people around you who will support you, because if you're the only one you're talking to and all you have is a negative voice in your head telling you that you're nothing but trash, like that's all you ever gonna think. So I'm I'm really trying. And then the next thing was cultivating compassion. And I was like, yo, these things really do come full circle, because compassion, it's so easy for me to be compassionate to other people, but to myself, for some reason, I feel like I'm undeserving of it. And I don't know why. And it's because I'm constantly wanting somebody else to validate that I am deserving of compassion when I need to be the one doing that. And then these last two were some that I was like, okay, these are two ways that I feel in the pit of my stomach, because it's something that my therapist asked me, and it took me 4 hours to figure out what my own values were. Cuz I was like, well, I know what values are, but I was so concerned with saying the wrong value that I was like, I had to Google some and just literally wrote down the first ones that I was like, oh, okay, I believe in that. I believe in. It was just so wild to me, because I was like, I kept thinking that there was a wrong answer to these values, because I associate my values with my parents' values. And when they don't match up, I think I'm messed up. I think I'm wrong. I think I just got a quiz wrong and I'm going to be whooped because, you know, I didn't study right. And now I'm in trouble for that. You know what I mean? Like I was like, now I have to developing a stronger sense of values and your own values. I literally underlined it. Oh, no, I didn't underline it. Was I supposed to? It's half written in caps and half written in lowercase. I don't know what I was doing. But your own values, stressing your own values. Because like I said, my therapist had to ask me, she was like, or my therapist had asked me, what are your values and what are your parents' values? And I was like, girl, I really don't know, to be honest with you. Because it wasn't like my parents had instilled values where they were specifically like honesty, compassion. To me, I know one of the main important things to my family, to my parents, was just like going to school and getting good grades. You know what I'm saying? I didn't exactly know how to verbalize that though, but the word would be, academic achievements. That was something that was very important to my family, not as important to me, because what's more important to me are spiritual advancements and spiritual achievements. So when I noticed that there was a discrepancy between my values and some of my family's values, I was like, damn, I really must be broken. Like there must be something seriously wrong with me, because I don't value those things. It's not that I don't value those things. Those things may not be as important to me. Like what's important to me, transparency, honesty, compassion is the biggest thing. Understanding, patience, like self-growth and self-expansion. I feel like those are important values to me. And when I figured out that those are important to me, and then strengthening those by going on this journey myself, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to gain a better perspective of me. Now I'm starting to strengthen me. And it's so crazy to say this at 31 years old. I'm finding myself again. I guess that's just also another issue with society now, is that you're supposed to continuously find yourself. You're supposed to, because it's always something else that you can expand upon. There's always something else that you can grow within yourself. And with me finally figuring out that this is the type of person that I am, and this is who I am, I have to accept that. And I have to respect that. I have to really look at myself and love that in everything that it is. And The difficult part is to validate that, to let myself know that this is really who I am. This is what makes up who you are as a person, Zaja. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because I don't value like hard work over self-growth doesn't mean that I don't value hard work at all, because self-growth is hard fucking work. It's just not going out there on a regular 9 to 5. It's just not putting your face in a book for 6 hours. The hard work looks different. So even though my hard work is not directly defined as the exact same thing as what everyone else defines it at, it does not mean that I am not a hard worker. I am extremely diligent, very patient. I am very, very precise when it comes to doing my own self-growth, when it comes to doing my own spiritual work, when it comes to doing my own research on me, for myself, and my experimentation on me. Bitch, I am like a fucking scientist. And that's hard work. Because now after this, after talking for an hour, I have to go and cry for another hour only to hop back on here and make another episode. That is hard work, because this is emotional work that it's not like I'm clocking out and I can go home and just kick my feet up. No, this is going to be some shit that I'm going to think about for the rest of my life, because this is finding out who I am. So this is going to be some shit that I'm thinking about for the rest of the week, and figuring out how I can better validate myself without having to look at that and say, okay, yes, I validated this, but like mom, dad, sister, grandma, aunts, uncles, ancestors, is this valid for you too? Or I validated this myself, but random chick in the grocery line is like, do you validate this for me too? Like, can you do that? Like, is that okay? Is it okay that I do this for me? Do you know what I mean? That's fucking crazy. But that's what I gotta do. That's my hard work. And my hard work don't end. My hard work, I don't get paid regular dollars for my hard work. I don't get paid. I mean, and you know what? I get paid spiritually. So there go my wealth, being paid in the spiritual realm. But it's like, my values are still important, even if they don't reflect what other people deem as valuable, or even if they don't reflect what my family deems as valuable, or what people at jobs that I'm applying to deem as valuable. They are still strong values that I value in myself. And I know that I'm doing this to create a better world, not only for me, but for my kids and my kids' kids and my kids' kids, and for ancestors that have already passed. But yeah, okay, so sorry, tangent. Develop a stronger sense of values. What are your values? What do you value? What does that mean to you? And then the last one is engage in self-reflection and personal growth. Actually, I think I just tied both of those together and I didn't even realize it. But all of those, like, they're very important to learning how to validate yourself and learning how to validate what you find important in your life. Validate how you express yourself, validate how you love yourself, validate your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs and your dreams and your desires and everything of the sort. Self-validation is extremely important for creating a stronger sense of self, which is important to your authenticity. Oh my God, my throat already. It's important to your growth, because that validation, when you do validate yourself, you're looking at yourself like, damn, ain't nobody else gonna tell me who I am, what I do, what I believe, what I love, and what I don't love. Can't nobody else tell you nothing. The moment that you start validating yourself is the moment that you feel comfortable in your most authentic self. And tying that in with the last episode, having compassion, knowing that sometimes you validating yourself is going to make you a hero to you, but a villain to some. And having compassion with that person, knowing that you creating a villainous person out of me does not reflect me. But I also know that you are doing the best that you are doing with whatever tools that you have. And then having that compassion with yourself and knowing that I don't blame nobody for trying to make me the victim. Because again, it ain't got nothing to do with my self-worth. It's not directly tied to how I view myself. And it doesn't have to define me. It does not have to define me, and it doesn't have to define you. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and end this episode because it has been an hour and I did not realize that it was going to be an hour, but I'll be talking, I'll be crying. But let me know how you validate yourself. Do you feel like you've got this self-validation thing down packed, or do you feel like you could use a little work? When you validate how you feel, do you ever go back and think, damn, did I hurt their feelings by validating myself? By validating how I feel? Or do you just say, hey, that's them, this is me. And if they can't validate how they feel, all while still being compassionate to me validating myself, then they just gonna have to work through that themselves. So comment, like, share with someone else who may have issues validating their dreams, and journal about this. What are some of your values? Well, I'll talk to y'all later. See you later. I'll cry later. I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and validate yourself because you are important, you are valid, and you deserve it. Bye, friends.